I was born in my husband's constituency. I think I was actually born at the hospital, Andrews Memorial Hospital it was. Yeah, at the time. But grew up at a very early age in Ensom City and went to Ensom City all age and then on to St. Catherine High School. I remember even being at Ensom City all age, being a very industrious little child. My parents would send me to school, they would give me my lunch money, but I would be buying police button and selling them to get extra money from early days. So I remember being at St. Catherine High School and leaving school, walking from St. John's Road to Spanish Town. I did it often. I walked from Ensom City to St. Catherine High to save money again. Even though I got my lunch money and I got my taxi fare, I always felt that other than paying my school fee and giving me my uniform and my books, I should be able to do all the other little things. If I need geometry set, if they're doing something for sports day, I should be able to chip in. My dad worked in a factory, zinc manufacturing factory it was. He was a supervisor there. I think the factory closed down. He was made redundant and he took his savings and went into the taxi business. So he had a bus and taxi from time to time. I would walk to Spanish Town and go and meet my mother and help her to sell. She would sell shoes and clothing, and I had no problem. I remember many times my classmates would pass and sometimes they would see me at school and say, Juliet, you don't feel ashamed to go help your mother sell? And no, I was never ashamed. I always felt this is what is sending me to school. My mom and my dad earn an honest living, and I thought it was an excellent value to instill in me as a child. And I pitched in and made sure I sell anytime I could once school was out. If it was Christmas, I would be on to Falmouth. I love to check a lot of money. So when they went to Falmouth, I found that the sales was very good. I was collecting and selling, and I found that very exciting, that my parents were able to earn in this way. My mom sort of beat it into my head since early days. Look, we are not wealthy, and the way you're gonna achieve in life is to have a good education. That's really the legacy I'm passing on to you. Being educated and being able to take care of yourself. So for me, growing up as a child, I actually never had a sense of any disparity or inequity in how women and men function, because my parents functioned in a way where my mother was a strong woman and giving in equal ways to the partnership of taking care of and raising the family and funding our lifestyle. Myself and Andrew went to St. Catherine High School together, but I didn't like him in high school. I thought that he was just enough. He was into everything. I remember the very first Valentine's Day special that was put on at the school. Andrew organized it. He conceptualized it and he organized the Valentine's event. And I was like, who is that guy? Everything is him. I remember he was valedictorian, and I just continued to almost envy him and said, this guy is just so into everything. And I remember when he was doing his valedictory speech, I don't think I've ever told him, when he kept saying education. And I'm like, it's education. so I remember Andrew well. I was very impressed with the way he was as a young man. He was helping his mother to build her house, and I'd pass and see him up on top of the house, helping the man who was doing the grill work, the masonry, and I was like, yeah, that guy not bad at all. All right. But I remember at school thinking that he was just so enough. Everything was just this Andrew. Then he wasn't my friend. So I went to Wolmer's Girls, as I told you, for sixth form, and when it came around now to the ball at sixth form, I didn't have a date. And someone said to me, what about Andrew, the guy down the road? And I was like, not so bad. I could make him go on with me. And I said to Andrew, do you want to accompany me to my sixth form ball? I think he had a friend, Garfield, who liked me at the time. I don't know if he knew. But Andrew said yes, and at the time, as I tell you, very naive, very sheltered, I was chaperone. My uncle took us to the ball, drove us to the ball, and stayed with us at the ball and took us back home. So I had no opportunity for Andrew to get on with any hanky-panky at all. But that summer was the start of our relationship. I remember after sixth form, we spent the entire summer together. Like every waking moment. We stayed together until we fell asleep. We are very boring people, you know, so we decided we were gonna get married in 7 years. There are not many things I found that I was adamant about in a relationship, but some things I was very principled about. So I would never have a child unless I am married. And I remember saying that we need to be able to buy a home first, need to get married, and then we can think about having children. I remember we got married, 1997. We planned, I don't even know, we sat down, we talked about it. I think we decided to have our wedding in between our birthdays. I'm born on the 16th of July, he's born on the 22nd, and we chose the Sunday in between our birthdays. We could not afford a lot, so we didn't have a wedding planner, and we could not afford a big hotel. I remember we rented Villa Ranai at the time, and we had a regular chef that you would normally have in your community come and cook up the curry goat and the rice and peas at Villa Ranai. And there we were married. Everybody came, like we invited all the relatives that we knew lived very far away because they would not be able to come to the wedding. They live in the UK, they live in America and Canada, but we didn't want anybody to say that we'd never invite them. So after trying to keep the wedding to 50, and my parents started to tell me who and who not invited, and his parents started to say who and who not invited, we said, all right, here's the strategy. Send all of them invitation because they're not coming. We ended up, instead of having a wedding of 50, with a wedding of 250 people, because everybody turned up from all over and our mouth was just dropping. My father didn't think it funny. I told him that we should have actually run it like a fish fry, where we give them an invitation at a cost and you pay to come to the wedding. Because, all right, but we enjoyed it. It was wonderful, not very expensive, and right up our street. Now that you're serving, you don't end up having as much time. And for Andrew, he spends his time with the boys, riding the bike. I will ride, but I don't always go with them. It's good to have some father-son time, and sometimes they're out in the hills. I leave them to their time and space. It's always a challenge. People live their lives differently. People have different types of families, but I continue to appreciate the value in having been raised by my mother and father. I think it has actually made a difference in who I am, and being blessed to have Andrew around as a father, particularly having to raise boys. It is really important. I love sitting and listening to him, coaching and counseling and passing on life skills. And I think their life would not be as fulfilled, would not be as fulsome if they didn't have the benefit of having their father around and his involvement. So my first full-time job was at KPMG at the time. I remember that interview so well because the HR manager called me back afterwards. So I went in from university in the morning, got called in, myself and another young lady. We're actually best friends today, Jackie, and we started that same morning. I went in, did the interview. So they said to me, are you expecting to get a car? I said, coming out of university, I don't have any expectations. What do you expect for your salary? I said, I have no expectations. Whatever you're paying for persons starting out, I am ready to work at that salary, and I'm gonna work hard, and I am gonna move up. And I was hired on spot. I was told to go outside and given a file and ready to work. Long afterwards, the HR officer said to me, you know, most people come from the university, they start asking us if a car comes with the job and exactly how much we're gonna pay. And for that, with your qualifications from the university and that attitude, you were hired immediately. And the rest is history. I saw my company as my company. it is not just the partner's company, it's mine. So I was always very aggressive about collecting their money. I would always be the first one to give the bill. For everybody who worked with me, they'll tell you, Juliet would take us home and we would work through the night to finish the files because she's coming in under budget. She's making sure the company makes money. She's making sure she collects the fees. And that's just how it was for me. I felt if you're working in an organization, you should love what you're doing so much that you treat it as your own. And it served me well. I left Price Waterhouse as a senior. I remember being a manager called in to say, Juliet, do not go. Do not leave Price. Every single partner called me, do not go. You know, you have such potential. We see you as joining the partnership. But I decided at that time, having been pregnant with my first child and seeing that I was one who would work through the night, through the weekend if necessary, it would not have been the best thing for what I wanted in terms of family life balance. And so I said, you know, I'm going to take this job and go off to Biscuit Company. When I left Excelsior, I remember being the same type of person I was running away from. So again, I was up hours in the night. I was helping to do some of the work of my general manager, preparing for board meetings, traveling to Trinidad. And I'm like, but nothing has changed. Where is that work-family balance? So I decided I'm going off now on my own. I sat down with someone who was a biscuit contractor at the time. He sort of did some of the sales. And he was retiring, and he said he had land in Barbican that he wanted to sell. You know, who took her money, all of the money that I was getting from Biscuit Company. And I bought that piece of land and told myself, I am going to develop the piece of land. I knew nothing at all about development at the time, nothing. But I figured I needed to find something that I could do on my own. And I figured all the years in accounting and auditing and the type of skills you develop from knowing that whatever area of expertise, just work, research, study, and go for it. I went. So, having bought the land, I said, okay, I have no money. And so I decided to assist the government in terms of some amount of consultancy work. So again, at the time, the government wanted to move into a place of having a system of cash management right across ministries. I liked the concept, and I decided I would go and engage in all the consultancy work they had at the time as it relates to improving their accounting systems in the Ministry of Finance. So being there for a while, I literally started my development while doing consultancy work. Yeah. And for the first development, I said, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I have a civil engineer. I don't know anything about that. And I had a very good and professional electrician and a very good plumber. And I said to myself, you're going to learn everything else. So coming out of that development very quickly, I appreciated space, I appreciated material. Literally, when I saw the first load of sand drop, and then the second load came, and then I ordered from another truck, and I noticed the same material was 2 times what I got from the first guy, I said, okay, I'll be buying all my material. I'll be jumping up on the back of the truck and checking to make sure I've got what I'm paying for. And I got very involved, so I did all my purchases myself. I did all my looking at my designs and what I wanted to live in. And that was my approach. As a developer, I felt I am not going to sell a house I wouldn't live in. And so I stood up there and made sure when you reach 4 block height, you pour every single block pocket. Because in doing any work at our home, when Andrew started to hit down sections of the house, we saw that, wow, not every block pocket is filled. And that is how people have built over the years. And I decided it may cost a little more, but I'm going to build what I would live in. And so I've never had a problem selling units that I've built. And I would never have a problem having to live in it because I believe in giving people exactly what I would want for myself. And I really enjoyed the experience. Moving into another development, I said I have to hone another skill, so guess what? I'm going to learn plumbing. And moving into another one, I'm going to learn electrical work. So I found the workmen, they were nice to me. I didn't have too much of a challenge. They didn't curse bad words around me because they know I don't curse expletives. They would move away to smoke the ganja because they know I'm not into smoking. They were very respectful. They taught me what they knew. And I didn't have many issues being in construction at all. I really enjoyed working with the men. So it makes me a lot more comfortable being in a position both to ensure that where the government is spending its resources to do road work, I will go out and check and say, no, that is not 2.5 inch of concrete. That is not 3 inch of asphalt and then coming down to 2 inch of asphalt after your roll. No, it is not being done properly. And it makes a difference. It may annoy some of the contractors, but I know in the end, when a road is done and you're able to be in a place where it doesn't need to be replaced anytime soon, it benefits all the taxpayers and it benefits my constituents. And I'm happy to have the experience to be able to do that and to see what they're doing. In 2016, I had zero desire of being in politics. Zero. Okay? Zero, zero, zero. I've never thought of myself, and even now I don't really think of myself as a politician. It's very strange. I grew up, yes, in the church with my mom, always serving people. And when Andrew entered politics, from time to time, I would find myself going to do the Children's Street, Senior Citizen Street and dinners. I enjoyed that aspect of the politics. But in 2016, I was looking on and saying to myself, if the JLP doesn't win, I don't think the country will have an opportunity to see what Andrew Holness can do as a leader. And I had had that level of confidence in him. I knew that he had that drive and genuine love for country and a genuine desire to develop Jamaica. And I felt at the time, look, if you don't win, you don't really get an opportunity to show what you can do for Jamaica. I really worked hard for my first term. And I worked hard particularly because there are persons who believe if you're the wife of the Prime Minister, then you should slack off because you should think yourself special. No, I'm not special. I am a member of Parliament who have taken on a seat, and so I should show, especially because I'm the wife of the Prime Minister, that I am going to hold myself to the highest standard of performance. I am required to work harder than anyone else. I believe a part of my purpose in life is to show that women can achieve anything that we set our mind to. We're actually emotionally intelligent, we are driven, we can give just as good as any man. So in politics, I was quite happy to see so many more women entering into the political arena. And as I have been as an MP, you're gonna find a lot of you men being very challenged because women are stepping up in terms of representation and literally raising the bar of what Jamaicans expect from their representatives. And you're gonna see more and more of that. I don't want to see a world, I don't want to see a Jamaica where women cannot be rewarded and comfortably appreciated for their intellect, their capability, and their skills. We shouldn't have to bring anything else to the table. Once treated equally, you are going to find that Jamaica is better for it. And so I have never felt that I should sit comfortable with the stereotype that the wife of the Prime Minister should be somebody who is ceremonial, who gets called out at events and almost worn as a handbag. That is not what it is supposed to be, especially in today's day and age. I believe that if you're able as a woman to work and contribute your full potential, it makes that partnership stronger and it makes your country stronger as a result. I have actually taken an approach of having a lot of young people on my team, because if I groom young people, when I'm a little older, I find they will be able to carry me. They will be able to carry the visions, they'll be able to carry the seat, and they will be able to carry their community. So in terms of the gender balance, I feel it is my responsibility. I want young girls to appreciate that they can actually excel and achieve anything that they want. And so I'll continue in my role doing so. Entering in the political arena as wife of the Prime Minister at the time in 2011, that our men were really marginalized. I look back at the university, 8 females to 1 male coming through the university. And so I wondered to myself exactly where are good Jamaican women like myself going to find good Jamaican men? And I said, I'm going to start the Save Our Boys Foundation and start working on the grooming, education, and training of some of our young men, seeing if I can get mentors for them. And so I started the Save Our Boys and Girls Foundation. Because for me, I remember someone wondered why I homeschool for a little bit. For me, if there's a problem, I'm gonna fix the problem. I remember when my son was 4, I was driving him to school one morning, and I would normally drop him off and then head on to work. By then, our younger son, Matthew, would have been 2 years old. They're 2 years apart. And he said, Mommy, every morning you're just rushing. You keep saying, rush, hurry. We have to get you to school. And then you drop me off and you run, gone and hurry. And when I come home, if you pick me up, you just drop me off and gone. And it sort of really like just pulled that to the core of my heart. And I felt tears running down my face, and I'm like, I have to find a different way to do this. Well, we have instilled in them not thinking about just yourself. In the same way that your parents have gotten involved in being in a position to help Jamaicans and to make your family more than just your family at home, but the wider society, we believe they should strive to not make life only about themselves. I'm not encouraging them to enter politics though, right? Definitely not encouraging them to enter politics. I haven't discouraged them. If that's what they would like to do, they will have the support. The older of the two, Adam, loves every single thing to do with IT. He loves artificial intelligence. He believes that he will be able to revolutionize what we do in Jamaica in terms of our appreciation for everything STEM. And so I am looking forward to that new wave of the future. He will be our AI expert. That's his love. The younger of the two, he loves business. And both of them are already involved in a little business. I think they got that from the time that their mom sell police buttons. It has always been my dream, my effort to just work and to serve in the capacity that I'm in, always. At PricewaterhouseCoopers, at Biscuit Company, and even now as an MP. I just believe, do your best, work hard, and God must have his plan for me, my life, my future, and where he wants to see me. And it has worked out very well. Where I am today, from where I started, I owe it all to God, to my parents, and to the perseverance of working hard and being dedicated.